Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let me ask you a quick question before we dive in. If the presidential elections were to happen tomorrow and the only candidates on the ballot were Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Rotimi Amaechi and Atiku Abubakar, who would you vote for? Let me know in the comments, and if your preferred candidate isn't among the three, feel free to drop their name too. This platform is open to every voice. Now, I'm not here to take sides or to criticize anyone. My aim, as always, is to bring to you what is going on in the political space and let you decide for yourself. I've got a clip I want to play for you shortly, and I encourage you watch till the end so you don't miss anything. And also, please support this channel by liking, sharing and subscribing for more straightforward content like this. Thanks for subscribing. Now let's get into the gist. Truth is, there has been a growing narrative that the new opposition movement, that is the ADC coalition, isn't really out to fix Nigeria, but rather to fight President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the ruling APC. But what strange is how uncomfortable some people, especially within APC, seem whenever the coalition is mentioned. The funniest part is that some say Labour Party wants Peter Obi gone, and that even within ADC, there's no clear direction yet. Well, that is a fair criticism, and the truth is, many Nigerians are not fully convinced that this particular coalition ADC has a solid strategy to win in 2027.
What we know is that this is a party built on grudge against Bola Tinubu. I mean, if you look at what they said, this is an anti-Tinubu coalition. That's what I'm quoting them. So it's not a pro-Nigeria coalition, it's an anti-Tinubu coalition. I mean, how can that stand when you're coming together based on enmity? It cannot work. So you need to come together based on principles. Parties are built on ideology, on principles. Parties are not built on hate. Look, Peter Obi was asked the question, what party are you? And then he stammered and said, oh, he's in Labour Party. But how can you be in Labour Party and still be in ADC? Look, they don't have any governor. The senators that they have are fringe senators who are just one leg in their party and one leg out of their party. So how can they say that they are a party? They're just a ragtag coalition, and the condition of that coalition is confusion.
Reno Omokri didn't hold back at all when Charles asked him some questions. He said Peter Obi is very unlikely to get the ADC ticket. In fact, in a recent interview with Kenneth Okonkwo on Channels Television, he made it clear that if the ADC coalition presents Peter Obi, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win, and he prefer if Atiku or El-Rufai or any northerner were present that they stand a chance against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You can find the video on the channel. Anyway, Reno Omokri answered a series of questions about the 2027 elections, the potential candidates, and why he believes President Bola Ahmed Tinubu still has the upper hand. This man on the sugarcoat, make I no lie. Take a listen to what he said and let me know what you think in the comments.
But broadly speaking, Reno, in terms of stylistics and focus, I mean, we can authoritatively say that, like the APC, when it came into being just over a decade ago, the aim of the ADC coalition is to remove the president and his APC party from power. I mean, you don't need any particular illumination to figure that out.
The ADC is nothing like the APC. When the APC came into power, the APC had governors. They had about 12 of them immediately. They had governors. They had a sitting member of the House of Reps, a speaker. They had senators. They had powerful individuals. This party doesn't have that. Look, the main talkative in this party is a guy called Nasir El-Rufai. I know him. He was my client when I was a political consultant. I ran a political consulting firm. And guess what? He submitted his name to be a minister under the Tinubu administration. He went to the National Assembly to defend it.
He's not denying that.
Yeah, well, he did deny that actually. No, that's not factual. He actually denied that. He said that he never wanted to be a minister.
He said he was asked to become a minister, and obviously he then went through the motions.
He went to the National Assembly, he gave glowing speeches, he tried to be a minister, and he was rejected by the National Assembly. Only then did he now remember that Tinubu is a bad person. That's sour grapes. Now, let's talk about Peter Obi. Peter Obi is having problems in the Labour Party. He doesn't know if he has the clout to pull off what he pulled off in 2023. So he's looking for an alternative route. And so he's now putting one leg in the ADC, but he's not even sure. He says that he's still a member of the Labour Party. Now, let's talk about the People's Democratic Party. Let's talk about those members of the People's Democratic Party who are coming into the ADC. How many of them control their states? None of them control their states. None of them. As a matter of fact, this guy, Nasir El-Rufai, his own son was at the venue where President Bola Tinubu was endorsed for a second term, and the boy was shouting enthusiastically. If you cannot convince your own first son to support you, how do you think you can convince Nigerians?
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, you know, this may not be for you, but there are many who might be encouraged and even inspired by the fact that heavyweights like Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, two of Tinubu's biggest challengers in the last election, being the face of this coalition, in addition, of course, to the likes of, as you mentioned, Nasir El-Rufai, Rotimi Amaechi, David Mark, Rauf Arebesola, Uche Secondus, etc.
Well, one thing that these people all have in common is that they all lost in 2023. All of them, all the names that you mentioned, they all lost in 2023.
Yeah, but so what if they lost?
Yeah, so if you form a...
I mean, many of them don't even believe
Can I answer your
they
question?
lost.
If you form a losers convention, so, I mean, why should I be afraid of you? You're forming a losers convention. I mean, why should I be afraid of you? It happens all the time. In the United States, we see people forming a losers convention. When you gather negative thinkers together, there's more negativity.
Right. Well, that's one way of looking at it. The other way is that there is a certain logic behind it. They don't want to split their vote, which collectively beat Tinubu hands down in 2023. I mean, Tinubu got 37% of the vote. Atiku and Obi combined got 54%. So on that score, would you concede that they appear to have learned some lessons from the last election, because both Atiku and Obi feel that they might have won on a joint ticket in 2023?
That means you're not up to date. Because in his last interview on channels, Peter Obi said, and I'm quoting him, "I will contest the 2027 election."
But a joint ticket, let me just make this point. A joint ticket doesn't mean that they're necessarily running that. In other words, that they're combining forces.
Yeah, but if Peter Obi says he's running, if Waziri Atiku Abubakar says he's running...
Well, he hasn't said that.
Waziri Atiku Abubakar has not said he's running. Oh, please. Anyway, but let me just finish now. So if Peter Obi says that he's going to run, if we are seeing from every indication that Waziri Atiku Abubakar wants to run, if we are seeing Amaechi submitting a proposal to the ADC officially for a one-term presidency, I mean, who have you seen any coalition there? There's no coalition. What you're just seeing is egos, different egos. The man, Peter Obi, is based on what has happened in the past. Is very unlikely to get the ticket of the ADC, because if you see what's happening with the ADC, he doesn't have that clout within the ADC. I have a good idea who's likely going to get the ticket. It's likely going to go to a northerner. And the man has said, I'm definitely going to run. So what you just said, that premise is wrong. There is no coalition. There is no joining of forces. This is just egos going here, and there.
But would you concede, Reno, that with all these people coming together from various parties, both ruling and opposition, this is arguably the biggest shake-up in Nigerian political history since the APC came in, some 12 years ago?
But I answered that question already. How can it be a shake-up when you cannot shake up your family? Nasir El-Rufai's son is in the APC and endorsed the president. How can it be a shake-up when you cannot shake up your own state? Tell me, which of these people controls their state, that their governor has gone with them? Name one. You cannot, because it doesn't exist. Rauf Aregbesola in Osun State doesn't control his governor. Peter Obi does not control his governor. His governor is very virulently opposed to him. Nasir El-Rufai has been indicted by the Kaduna State House of Assembly. So which of them? I'm never going to
but Peter Obi still won the state. Well, and won a lot of other states.
Yeah, he won the state.
In spite of not controlling those states, as you put it.
Yeah, but...
And I mean, the suggestion from you is that if you have a governor, in other words, you almost seem to, without putting words into your mouth, hearken back to the old way of doing politics in Nigeria, that the governor is the person who clamps down on the voting capacity of the state. I mean, when people are free to cast their votes for whoever they want to vote for.
Now, we're talking about two different things. You're talking about the general election, we're talking about the primary. Now, we're talking about who is going to get the ticket. Because if Peter Obi does not get the ticket of the ADC, he's going to run under the LP because he has
Well,
said...
he's going to run under another party,
Well,
but
he
we
has
don't know
said,
yet.
because he has said that he is a member of the Labour Party. So the logical thing to do is to run on the Labour Party. So we're talking about, let's put first things first. We're talking about getting the primary ticket. So we are not seeing any of them controlling their governors, controlling their states. So these are just malcontents. These are disgruntled people. These are losers coming together, like I said, to form a losers convention.
Okay,
Making an analytical assessment, I just gave you points to note. Our debt has gone down from 113 billion to 97 billion. Our GDP is growing at 3.84. We had 2 recessions under Buhari. We are seeing growth under Tinubu. Look,
Well, I mean, it's the same party.
It doesn't
it's
matter.
the same APC
It doesn't
party.
matter.
So telling me about Buhari, it's the same group.
APC,
it's the same party.
APC was not a party.
Well, you were just
APC
arguing that he brought
Can I finish?
Buhari into office.
Yes, but APC is not a party. APC is a coalition. That's why APC
is a party.
No,
it's
APC,
a party that was formed by different parties.
Can I explain to you better? APC is a coalition. It is not a party. There were legacy parties built on ideology that formed the APC. All those legacy parties, they don't really agree together. The Congress for Progressive Change has a different political and economic ideology from the ACN, the Action Congress of Nigeria. So ideologically speaking...
So why are they together?
Yeah, that's why it's called a coalition. It happens in England. I schooled in England, you schooled in England. We have
It's an APC party.
It's a coalition.
That's what it's called.
It's a coalition. Now, the ideology behind Bola Tinubu is not the same ideology behind Buhari. And we are seeing progress with Bola Tinubu.
Well, they don't have any ideology. They have visions, they have philosophies, but they don't have ideology.
No, that's not true. Bola Tinubu has ideology, and that ideology has remained consistent since 1989 when he was in the Social Democratic Party. That's why it is very difficult for you to make a distinction between Bola Tinubu and Waziri Atiku Abubakar because they have the same political ideology. They are both SDP people. And don't forget that this Waziri Atiku Abubakar was the presidential candidate of the Action Congress of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu's legacy party that became a member of the coalition.
Indeed.
Omo, as we move closer to 2027, one thing is clear. Nigerians are watching closely. Some say it is Peter Obi or nothing. Others believe in Atiku, and some are still standing firmly behind President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The truth is, the people are tired of promises, tired of hardship, and now, more than ever, they want real leadership. This upcoming election is not just about parties or coalitions, it is about Nigeria. So whether it is APC, ADC, Labour Party or PDP, the people will decide, but let's hope they choose wisely. If you found value in this update, please show your support, like the video, drop your thoughts in the comments, and share it with others, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to Talk City so you don't miss our next post. See you in the next one.